Hi, this is Riley McDaniel, and I'm going to be taking you through some of my family tree up through Grandma Val's line. For anybody who's I'll be watching this, I'm Riley McDaniel III, son of Riley McDaniel, grandson of Riley McDaniel Sr., who was a son of who we called Grandma Val or Fishing Grandma. First thing I want to say is, if you don't see your name on here, please don't be offended. This is a long, tedious job, and you can see all the names that I have on here. And believe it or not, my focus has been moving up, and I jump from line to line all the time, just trying to keep things balanced out. This is just my dad's side. If I click on my mom's side tree, you'll see that I have many other up here, and it keeps going up as well. But let's go back over to the other side. Click on my grandfather's line there. Okay. I want to see a couple of things I want to say is, on my tree, I verify every person through documents. Not everybody does that on Ancestry. There's a lot of copy and pasting for other people's trees. I rarely look at other people's trees. If I do, it's just to maybe get a little hint or to verify maybe what I've put on there. But every person you see that's on here, I've verified through a document, and that's what I'm going to be showing you is documents that I've done. Now, if you see anything that you know to be wrong, please let me know, and I'll see about trying to correct that through documentation. All right, so back to the tree here. So we know Riley McDaniel. That's my dad. We'll go up to my grandfather. Okay. You'll notice here, this is my roadblock right here. I am trying so hard to get information. Someone out there knows who goes here. And if you know anybody in the family that might have heard of rumors or anything, please, I'm working for any names. Okay. All right, so let's first of all click on my Grandma Val. Now, I know that Uncle Robert is not on here. I have not been able to find a marriage certificate or anything, and I believe that could be because Grandma Val, on a lot of documents, there are lots of different names used. Sometimes she went by Valley on government documents, sometimes it's Lou, because her full legal name was Lou Valley. So let's go ahead and click on Grandma Val. We're going to look at her profile. Trying to talk fast a little bit through this because my recording thing only lasts so long on the free one. All right. So the earliest thing we have for Grandma Val is the 1920 U.S. Census. So let's look at the 1920 census. Well, I was going to say anything that y'all want a copy of, I can download and send in an email to you. We zoom in on this, and here's George McDaniel and his wife Lily. We can see the kids, William H., George L., and there's Lou V., Lou Valley, daughter. And in the 1920 census, she was 4. Looks like the census writer wrote 4 3/4 years old there. 4 8/12. Okay. Interesting enough, we have had a hired man living with them, Charles Albert, who was 21. Now, when I know this is just a possible theory that I've thrown out there. So when Grandma Val would have been 16, let's say that's 11 years later, this guy would have been 32, and that would have not been heard of. So I've wondered often if this, since I started doing this and saw this, if this might not possibly be Grandpa Riley's father. That's just something I've thrown out there. I have no verification or anything like that. That would have probably been a very, very bad thing, and would be one reason why she didn't like him and had nothing to do with him, etc. Later on, something I'm throwing out there, but it is a Charles Albert, so that could be akin to some other family, possibly. So anyway. Moving on. So yes, so from this census, we first get legal documentation of Grandma Val's parents as George McDaniel and Willie. All right, so we move on. One thing I don't like is on the Ancestries tool is how you get it out of it. So I'm going to zoom back out and back up. All right, so we go now to the 1930 census. I'm going to view it. View image. Zoom in a little bit. Once again, we have George and Willie. Now down here we have Valley, daughter, 14. We see more of the kids. See, interesting. There's one thing you'll learn about this as you're doing these things and looking at the documents. In the 20 census, she was Louis V. In the 30 census, he's Valley. So we first get pretty much a pretty good solid list of all her brothers and sisters, and I've added those to the tree. All of those. Also, we had a 15-year difference. I forgot to point that out. No, that's a big deal today. Not that big a deal that long ago. All right, so you can see Nilly, Ruth, Omer, Carl, George, William, all there on that census. All right, I'm going to pause my recording to. Next thing we look at is so far this is the only marriage certificate I have for Grandma Val. All right, so here is the marriage license information from the Texas County Marriage Records. There's actually no image that goes with it, just the information. So this is the first verification we have of Grandma Val being married to Powak, and I guess that would be Uncle Chuck's father, of course. And this is marriage to Robert Lee Ward. Now, for the most part, I haven't put people on the tree that actually have no blood. I have no blood ties to, but since Grandpa Ward was who I knew as my great grandfather, I went ahead and did place him on there. As well as anyone that is tied into that line of the family, I will place on there as well. They are family. Okay, so there we go. I have not found marriage verification documents yet for the Powak family, but I will. Just give me some time. All right, so let's get on out of there. So here is a rundown of Lou Valley Josephine McDaniel from what I have documents supporting. Born in Oklahoma, birth of sister Nilly. I do have two different dates for that. I need to remove this one because this is the verified one. I've got residences in Oklahoma, birth of sister, birth of brother Carl, birth of sister Lorraine, some different residences. There's birth of son Riley McDaniel, marriage, and then of course we haven't reached most of these people yet. There we go. So let's move up the tree. We know from the census information we have George W. McDaniel and Willie Florence Mannion as Grandma Val's parents. We're going to first go up the McDaniel line because it is the shortest that I have so far. So we have George W. McDaniel. We will click. Right here we have an obituary index. I can send off with that obituary and place it as a document on here, and I will do that in the near future. But let's go look at what facts we've got here. Okay. The earliest census information I have for him, for George, Grandpa George here, this Grandpa George anyway, is the 1910 census. We'll view that image. Go down to where the entry is. And there is, we'll zoom in on it, George W. McDaniel, wife Willie, and son William H.T. who at this time was 2 months old, 1910. So, and they are living in, this gives us their place of birth, place of father's birth, place of mother's birth. So we know. Now he's come back down here. George was born in Alabama. Both his parents are from Alabama. Willie was born in Oklahoma. Parents from Missouri. Now, okay. All right, so we've already seen the 1920 and the 1930 census with Grandma Val when we were looking at Grandma Val. So now we can move down here, look at a couple other things. We're going to look at this marriage record. All right, so here's an application for marriage license for George McDaniel and Lily Mannion, 27 and 16. Shows the times. Interesting, J.L. Albert. I believe that was the same guy who was listed as the hired man on the census. So I need to look more into that a little bit. All right, so anyway, applied for marriage on 19th January 1909 in Atota County. Okay, here we have the U.S. World War I draft registration card for George Wayne McDaniel. Just thought this was kind of a cool thing to show you. Nearest relative, put down Lily McDaniel. Wife. Oh, so, like I said, if this is something you would like, just let me know. Download that image and send it to you. All right, now for George Wayne McDaniel, this is where it gets interesting and kind of puts this break on things a little bit as well. When I bring up his death certificate, this death certificate is where we get his father's name and his mother's maiden name. So father's name is Larry McDaniel, birthplace Europe. Right, so now we have a father. We also know he was an immigrant. That's exciting. That's what I like to find out. Susan Glass, mother's maiden name from Alabama. Unfortunately, due to right now my limited description, I haven't ever moved past Larry McDaniel being from Europe. I do know that there's at least one other person who has Larry McDaniel in their family tree, and they have him as being Irish, which makes a lot of sense because I have a lot of Irish through my dad's side. If we go and look at view tree, we get to George W. McDaniel. We go up. Here's the Larry McDaniel, and here's Susan Glass that we just saw on the certificate, and that ends the line right there. I don't have any more information, verifiable information on those. Let me just show you. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. If we go into Larry McDaniel and other member trees, click on that, we'll see that some people have, well, here's that first person I was talking about, but they have a different spelling. They have the spouse of Sally Glass. This would not be unusual for people to change their names from the other country when they got to the U.S. That's a very real possibility. You'll see, and they have his children as George Wayne from Ireland. I don't put anything on my tree though that I can't verify. I've reached out to this person, and I have not heard back from them, but they haven't logged in over a month. Another person has him as Laurie McDaniel. Again, it's very possible that could be right, but they don't have any records. This should show any records they have. So just have sidelined that, as well as on Susan Glass, because there are no available hints for her.